Hello and welcome to Round 4 action of the Sunday Semi-Pro Cup Series, brought to you by NA Dota, casted by Dota Raptors as well as Nizcast, as he will always be joining me to give you guys both insight into the game and the draft. And I'm excited for this match as we have one of the first of many Niz that are going to be coming for the rest of the night. Top tier teams of the amateur scene are going head to head right now. Water, finalist many times, winner sometimes, but not recently. And of course, we saw SENS last game, but they're still a very strong team even though they've really not won anything together, but they definitely can put up a fight against a finalist team like Water.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw, was it last Sunday or last Thursday where Water went to the finals? I can't remember. No, it was last Sunday where Water went to the finals, and they played against Soup. Unfortunately, they didn't win. Soup was managed to win on last Sunday. But yeah, we've seen Water go fairly deep in these tournaments, pretty much every single time. Oh my!
Well,
they immediately start with a necro.
You know, I usually like to hide my cards, but there's definitely things to be said about people who just say, you know what, we're going to do what we're going to do, we're going to show you what we're going to do, but we're going to just do it better than you can counter it. And you know, that's kind of how a lot of great players end up playing in the end. So we'll see if this works out for Brent, as Razor will be the pickup here from Lumden. Actually, when I said that, the first person that came to mind was Flash. I was like, well, you know what Flash does? Nothing special. He just builds lots of units and beats you because he's better than you at StarCraft. But nothing fancy about that. We'll see if anything fancy comes out of either of these teams. They really like the Omni Knight Razor combo. Like, really like the Omni Knight Razor combo because 2 games in a row, early pickups, it's part of their strategy going into this week. If I had to guess, at least.
Well, apparently. I mean, they obviously... They think that they found something in 6.82 that they think is incredibly strong, and they're running with it. And apparently, they're going to run with it all tournament long, or until it stops working, or whatever. But apparently, they're completely unfazed by the fact that Water banned Sand King and AA, 2 heroes that we typically don't see banned in the first 2, and they weren't fazed at all by the Necro pick. So they're perfectly comfortable with doing what they've been doing, and they know that it works. So why change it up?
No, exactly. That's always fair logic. It can definitely help you, but it can bite you in the ass, of course, because somebody can come up with a different answer to what you did, can catch you off guard, not ready for it, fall apart. We'll see if that happens to them, as they've gotten this far, and honestly, when you've gotten this far in a tournament, there begins to get this point where you get a lot of just comfort and experience that you're not really scared or I guess not scared, but you don't get caught up in the moment as much, right? At a certain point, you get to this experience level where it's just like, I know I've been here before, I can win this game, we just need to do what we do, and draft well enough with a strategy that we know that we can win this game. And interesting bans. I guess they respected the ban the last game from Ink Dota.
Yep.
Spectre banning it out. Also the Tidehunter. I think that was a really smart decision. I would have probably banned that out in this first round if I was drafting after watching that game. Factor Fiction went absolutely off the chain. That Tidehunter. To be fair, he also had a very easy lane. Pugna.
It'll be, yeah. They, I think they banned it last game too.
I guess I mean, Pugna is really good against Omni Knight, right? Because the constant mana drain. It's really good against Razor. It's alright against Razor. Let me rephrase, sorry.
Well, Pugna works well. Well, Pugna's good at pushing, right? And Necro and Witch Doctor are both heroes that are good at pushing. And they also banned out the Abaddon, because Abaddon's just more heals. If you put Abaddon on Water's team, they now have 3 heals, right? 3 sources of heal. So it's very hard to kill someone when everyone's getting healed. So those 2 bans make sense. They're more, you know what, we're just going to say we're just going to ban heroes that are going to be strong for you rather than a hero that we think is going to be strong against us. Oh boy. Ricky, it's the offlane Ricky. I can feel it, it's offlane.
Well, and remember, he did get completely reworked. Of course, Blink Strike is now his ultimate. He can get passive invisibility at level 1, however the fade delay is forever. It goes down to 2 seconds.
I think?
Yeah, 8 seconds, you're correct. Of course, Blink Strike did get a slightly better as with the way it changed. Instead of being cooldown based, you have charges. So in a fight, you can choose to Blink Strike, Blink Strike, Blink Strike, Blink Strike, Blink Strike, but then you can't for a pretty long period of time. But what that gives you is the ability to consistently catch up to people.
We saw Water really favor Undying last Sunday, I think, didn't we? Was it them?
Maybe. Honestly, we've seen a lot of Undying lately.
Yeah.
Thursday we see a lot. Sunday we saw a lot. Last week before that we saw a decent amount. I mean, I feel like Undying is growing in popularity, and to be fair, a lot of the NA scene is Viper is going to be picked up, no surprise there. A lot of the NA scene is built around fighting each other at all points of the game. So building a lineup that fights at all points of the game is very important.
So you're going for the Viper mid matchup against Necro. You're safe laning the Razor with Omni support, and I think it's offlane Ricky. It could be, like, I don't see support Ricky working at all. So I think for sure it's an offlane Ricky, unless they decide to go aggro and they safe lane Ricky. But either way, Ricky's kind of that hero who's kind of off by himself. Now what is Water doing with the lanes? Are they just going to try to push fast with the Witch Doctor Undying, or are they going to try to go aggressive? I'm unsure. I think, well, this hero, I was going to say this fourth pick is probably going to be really telling, but apparently not.
Yeah, no, because you don't really want to go aggressive with either of those. You could. You can. They work. But, like, they don't offer you any catch potential until level 6 for Necrophos. And Undying and Witch Doctor have decent, right? You'll cast Tombstone. It's not bad, but, like, level 1... not great. Level 2, slightly better, but still not great. And then, like, later on it gets better. But part of an aggressive tri-lane is working in the here and now, because if you lose the early aggressive tri-lane, you're never going to get to the point you want to get to. Centaur does get banned out, so they're...
10 seconds remaining.
Centaur's been seeing a lot of last bans lately. It's kind of like the throwaway ban. Like, you will always see Centaur banned, if not picked, for some reason.
So what does Water pick? Bristle?
Or... maybe. That counters Riki pretty hard. It's good against Viper. Razor does do well against it.
I don't know.
I was gonna say something. Shakiro, interesting pick there.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what they went with last game, right? They're okay with that. They can feel that. They feel comfortable putting the Jakiro even with the Riki and just leaving Razor Omni, if the lanes will allow it. Because of course that's what they did last game. Except instead of the Riki, they had the Tidehunter. Completely different heroes, but.
No, I definitely see you there. I'm just... Bristleback is like the right idea. Just I don't feel like there's a hero in the pool. Like Centaur would have been great, and that's probably why it was banned.
That's why I think Bristle's the pick, because I don't know what else there is, and they don't have much time. Wraith King.
You know, he came up in my mind, but I felt stupid thinking about it. Partly because his stun is great and all, but I just don't see a Wraith King doing anything. I feel like he's just going to be food for the Riki once he gets Diffusal. And Razor again. Razor loves what he's running into right now. As long as he has a good HP threshold and BKB, he's set. And the main thing he has to worry about is really getting locked down and getting bursted by a Witch Doctor ult. Which maybe is part of the philosophy of this draft, right? Witch Doctor is the primary DPS output for a lot of the game with his ultimate. So build a team that he can never get interrupted. But that being said, we can talk more about that as the game gets going. Go ahead and get to the introductions as we have the winners of last round. SENS going to be playing on the Radiant side. We have Factor Fiction, the captain of the team, picking up the Riki. We have ZYZZ going to be picking up Razor middle again. Tempting Time. No surprise. Jakiro support Lumden. Seriously no surprise. Omni Knight support. And Ink Dota going to be picking up that Viper, most likely in the carry position.
On the Dire side, we've got Water. Playing the Silencer is Moo. Playing the Witch Doctor is Bren. I'm pretty sure we've seen him play the Witch Doctor a lot. So look for him to do some good stuff on that hero. We've got the D2 Sheriff on Undying. We have Hello World on the Wraith King. And we have Urkend playing the Necro.
This game's already shaping up to be pretty interesting as we have
2-on-2 lanes.
But is it? I don't think it's going to be a full 2-on-2 on both sides. I think it's going to be a 2-on-2 into a 1-1-3, which the 3 beats the 2 and the 1 beats the 2.
Oh, Jakiro.
But they have no. Remember, they have no lockdown. So how do they catch him? Right? They can't. They can't catch anything in this tri lane, but they can't die either. Right? But I guess they can die if they get caught.
I just felt like he could have lost a lot of health there.
Yes, that's true, but I don't know. How do you feel about this bottom dual lane? Because there's literally no stuns. I don't know how I feel about that with the Tombstone.
It's really weird. It's hard for them to really engage on them, though. Like, what are you gonna run at them and like have a Tombstone down and Necro's healing and stuff? It's a weird. Even Undying. Like, you can just be decaying and getting heals from Necro, so you can't go on him. You have to kill the Necro. How are you gonna work?
Well, we'll see. Because if they go on them, it might go bad. But if they don't, and they just pull zone and play well, they could win this tri lane and beat the dual lane. But the top lane is another story, as we, of course, we have Factor Fiction. Can't really go invis and last hit, actually, at all, until he gets level 5. I don't entirely know how you build a Riki now, because you really do want that quicker fade time, as it's a big difference now overall each level. But also Blink Strike, or not Blink Strike, sorry, Backstab is like all of his DPS, and usually you want to level that up first. So we'll see how he... I have not played Riki, so I'm interested to see how he goes through that. Or since the patch. We've all had our Riki pub stomps before 6.82. We all have. D2 Sheriff.
Action bottom lane.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Hurricane not really in anywhere to help him, but close enough that they won't pursue it. And with level 1 slow, and I believe he has boots. No, he does not have boots, but he has 310 movement speed. He won't be able to get chased down too easily. So we just see Riki scuttling on around in the shadows.
So I had to mute my mic there because I was getting a phone call in the background.
It's all good.
But
I was like, oh god, Iz, please. I'm running out of things to talk about.
I'm really interested to see what kind of build Factor Fiction does do. I was actually talking with a friend last night, and he was saying that you pretty much have to level permanent invisibility to at least 3. But I think you can get it. I don't think you have to level it up all that far. I mean, yes, if you're trying to, you know, poke away and get something done in the... Oh, they're going to stun on them, top lane.
Yeah, but we'll return as we do have the cast going out. Some right clicks. The DD is on the Jakiro, and he's dealing quite a bit of damage to Bryn, but I don't think they can chase here. He went Ice Path instead of Dual Breath, and they don't have a slow. They only have a 1-second stun, so they won't be able to catch him. Not sure if they would have got the kill with Dual Breath anyways, but gets away.
Yeah, I think you need 1, maybe 2 points. And you can move around and do stuff in the lane that you wouldn't typically think. Because you're not going to be last hitting all that much in the lane, as is.
Yeah, that's true. Hello World going to run right by him as they are looking for him. Creep Wave is pulled off to the right side by Jakiro. Great plays by him. He is going to go ahead and cylinder on through the right side out. Factor Fiction going to continue to farm, as this game is kind of a slow-paced game. 3.5 minutes in, we haven't seen a single kill. Not what we normally see in these games, Niz, as they are usually a lot more action-paced. or fast-paced, more action, etc., etc. As we
Bren's
see
in
bottom lane,
trouble.
yeah, Bren is in big trouble as the Riki is going to chase, but again, he does not have Blink Strike at level 1. The turn goes on to Jakiro, and Jakiro might actually go down first. Right click, though, from Factor Fiction in the back is enough to clean up that kill. So, first blood, Factor Fiction, and Bren is down on the sidelines.
He actually he picked up the Orb of Venom early, which allowed him to actually have an advantage over the Witch Doctor, and because he didn't have to wait for that 450 gold to have a move speed advantage. All he has to do is hit him once, and then he's got a move speed advantage.
Oh, Bren being chased down. Does get the Ice Path. Is the Jakiro as well as the dual breath, dealing quite a bit of damage now. The chase continues. Cask is going to bounce, not twice though, as it does end at the Jakiro, and that's going to allow Factor Fiction to clean up that kill. Hello World might be in a little bit of trouble here, but I don't think they can pursue too hard. Of course, they have double tick damage between the OOV and Liquid Fire, so that will actually cost him quite a bit of HP in the end. And meanwhile, this bottom lane has just kind of been slow, quiet, and a farm fest. But a farm fest that's been slightly Ink Dota favored, but very slight at the least. And actually, no, top lane, more action. Dive onto Hello World. Kill is secured by Jakiro with his Liquid Fire, ticking him over. And holy hell, this dual lane is doing a lot.
As soon as I saw the patch notes, I said Riki offlane is going to be very strong.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Tempting Time is doing a lot, though.
Yeah, no, this Jakiro player really impresses me. I've never seen this player before, but as an avid Jakiro player myself, no, I've not seen Tempting Time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe under other IDs or something, but the name does not sound super familiar to me. I mean, obviously he's good with who he's playing with. I'm not. But what I'm trying to say is that as an avid Jakiro player, I'm just genuinely impressed by his play and decision making with the Jakiro, because Jakiro is easy to play in a pub, but very hard to play in competitive, because he's very underwhelming if you don't execute perfectly.
Yeah.
Very underwhelming.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes you can feel like he like can never die, and other times he feels like the squishiest hero in the world, and you're not really doing anything on him.
All new runes are up, nothing exciting. As the lanes do continue to play out pretty passively, absent the top lane. Factor Fiction and Jakiro making 90% of that action happen. Bren and Moo were just trying to turn around. Middle lane, actually, Moo gets dived. Oh, no, that was actually bottom lane. I'm sorry. I'm blind as a bat, guys. It's in bottom lane. We saw that Viper was able to clean up Necrophos with Omni Knight rotating around. It looks like 1 point in degen plus 3 points in that slow. It's 30% with poison attack. It becomes actually quite powerful later on in the game. And ZZZ, or ZYZZ, might be in trouble. But honestly, with Omni Knight there, I don't think he's in too much trouble at all. We'll just go ahead and repel him. Tombstone's on cooldown, level 2. And right now, I think Water's draft is starting to, well, sink in itself, or drown in itself, or whatever you want to call it. But honestly, a lot of their lineup look like, to me, required early pressure and effective rotations. Top lane, dive, Factor Fiction under the tower. Hello World going to take quite a bit of damage, but with that Cloud, guaranteed kill. Jakiro will get it with that Liquid Fire. They will be able to escape while dealing damage to the end, as I feel like they need to execute if they want to win this game right now. They have the earlier game lineup, whereas SENS, I think, has more of a mid to late game lineup, as weird as that sounds.
I can agree with that. I think SENS right now is just winning all over the place. Although it may be only slight in certain lanes, they're just winning all over the place. They're just gaining an advantage. You know, even now with the Jakiro rotating up top, Riki has managed to pull ahead, and he's only 1 CS above Wraith King now. Actually, even on CS with Wraith King now, but still, that's way more than you would expect from your offlaner. And you compare it with the bottom, and Necro only has 18 CS, where Razor has 37. So, they're definitely winning in the off-lane war. They're winning the action top.
In the top lane, yeah, Hello World might be in trouble here. So is D2 Sheriff as the Macro Power goes down. They do have the Tombstone, but the Tombstone really is just not doing too much. Looks like they choose not to continue to chase the Undying, rather focus the Tombstone. Gold goes to, I believe it was Loombin. And 3 heroes will coalesce in the bottom lane for Water as we see that recap. Big exchange, especially in experience. over to the side of SENS as they continue to just pressure and pressure in this top lane, and it's starting to spiral out of control. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fact or Fiction rotate out of this lane and start to do some stuff on the map outside of it. Snowball his advantage out of the lane.
He doesn't have to yet. Now he's already maxed his backstab. He does a ton of damage. There's no one on water who can really come up here and lane against him. So he can now sit here and free farm away and get those much needed, I guess, points in permanent invisibility. As imagine now he's going to start putting a couple points into it.
No, completely agree. As we see, the tempting time might be in trouble. Stun comes out from the Wraith King, but honestly I think the one that's in trouble is Hello World. He just tries to get a right click, but the slow from OOV makes him think twice, cancels the right click. Now he's being chased. Stun goes out from him onto Factor Fiction, taking quite a bit of damage. The Undying's there to back it up, but Riki secures the kill. Will he go invis in time? 24 HP, 10. He's got 1 second left. No! Doesn't get invis, and of course there was that decay that goes through invis. It'll kill him anyways. Cast is going to be throw out Bryn, and D2 Sheriff looking to turn this around for his team, but that Jakiro with the Ice Path, sorry, doing a great job stalling this engagement. He will actually die. Moo with the double kill Janitor, coming in at the last minute, making the plays for his team, and able to secure important kills for them.
That was huge. They needed that. They really, really needed that. And Moo, he was the only one on their team who was really doing well. Or doing okay. You know what? He was definitely falling behind the Razor. But that rotation, oh wow. Getting some kills, some much needed kills too. Of course, when you kill Riki, even though it was Moo had nothing to do with that, D2 Sheriff just killed off Riki. Like, Riki was on a little bit of a streak. I don't even know how big the streak was, but that definitely helps your pockets. Especially when you're Undying. Kind of what I would have expected him to be slightly struggling, but now he got quite a bit of gold. He's got arcane boots, he's got a stick, he's looking good.
Most importantly, experience. Undying needs experience in a lot of ways.
Oh, they do get the sun off.
This is a good turnaround from Water. They're starting to make things happen as they'll clean up the Razor as well off the back of all of those exchanges and rotations. And now, 4 heroes towards the bottom side of the map. Will they push this bottom T1? Remains to be seen. But the top T1 did fall amidst all of this action. And they have 3 heroes in position to, it looks like, rotate towards the middle lane. However, they do have the option to continue farm in the bottom lane, and Yurkind is in big trouble. Ink Dota, just right click, right click, right click. Viper Strike allowing him to get in range. Poison Attack allowing him to finish it off. And Necrophos can't really do much in that situation. He can't out-heal Nether Toxin.
He didn't use his buckler there. Not that it would have saved him, but it would have slightly. Maybe he would have lived another attack.
Small plays you can just try to do to help every single time.
But Water's starting to show now why they're a good team. Yes, the laning phase didn't go well, but they're not out of this game. They're starting to make rotations. They're saying, you know what? We may not have as much gold as you guys, but
he's probably dead here. There is the global silence to probably stall this out. Bryn, great juking spot, but honestly not enough. He didn't turn his back the other way. So Factor Fiction should be able to TP out here. There's no stun. Jakiro throws out the Ice Path just to help. But yeah, Factor Fiction is just going out of his mind in this game on Riki right now.
Yeah, this is kind of what I expected though. I talked a little bit last game about how I haven't seen a Legion Commander, and everyone's talking about how Legion Commander is like, oh, everyone needs to pick this hero. I haven't seen it run all over a game yet. And when I first read the patch notes, I saw, you know what, Riki's going to be a very, very strong offlaner. He's going to have the potential to have this impact on the game. Yes, he got a lot of help from the Jakiro, but still, this is kind of what I expected from an offlane Riki. If he starts off okay, he's going to run around the map and start controlling the game. And I'm really glad to see Factor Fiction once again getting a good start, but continuing to snowball.
Action. Ice Path, triple stun. Now with the Viper Strike doing quite a bit of damage to Yurkind, he will get off that the Reaper side, And that heals him up a ton with that Sadist, and also the Witch Doctor ult helps clean up the Omnion on the left side. Ink Dota is on the run. Will he be able to get away? Waterbryn not really in range to get that stun. Does get canceled, and now Factor Fiction is in the area. Looks to want to try to turn this round. Will body block, actually, just to mess with their minds, but also to save Ink Dota, as he will get away. But that was a 2-for-0 trade in the favor of Water, as they're able to get in there, get some kills, and continue to push. Yeah, they won't be able to get this bottom tower. But Urkrin did survive there. Well, Factor Fiction looks to change that, as he honestly has enough Blink Strike charges. Should be able to get this. He has 1, 2 more. Will throw out the cloud, does dodge, will prevent the heal, and he got juked. So he will get away, is the Necrophos, and now Factor Fiction a little upset at himself, but not to fray, or not to fret, as he still is doing quite well in this game, and has a lot of potential to continue to snowball and dominate this game. Meanwhile, on the side of Water, I don't think they defend this tower. Maybe they do. And if they do, they don't have too many cooldowns to really throw at it right now.
Yeah, it's a tough defense. You know, if maybe Bren was full mana, full health, they could potentially try to save it, but I don't think so. You know, you don't have Reaper Sight, you've got the D2 Sheriff on half mana, and Bren was completely owned, basically. It's a tough, really tough tower to defend, so just let it fall and hope that you can go forward and get something to go your way as Oh,
Urkrin is in big trouble as the Ice Path hits him with the Viper Strike, the right clicks, the
Tombstone
Nether Toxin, but great Tombstone. The Cask bouncing even better, only between heroes as they're the only ones in the area, and that Death Ward plus the Reaper Scythe. Great cleanup. Can they get more important heroes though? Ink Dota is probably the most important kill if they can nab it. The right clicks are there. He's healing equal to the DJ and Aura, as we did see Omni Knight die in the background. But yeah, looks like Ink Dota will be able to get out alive. He hasn't died yet. Urkrin though, he's almost died twice in these situations, but you just don't go on a Necrophos. He has Mech, he has Death Pulse, but you can't not go on him, because if you don't kill him, then he's going to do that to his teammates. So, the infinite double bind of Necrophos.
Yeah, Necro's kind of got the same effect that Death Prophet has.
This might actually be enough to kill him. He does have not enough mana for that mechanism. Wow. Now he does. Last second before ZYZZ is able to get that right click to clean him up.
What I was saying is Necro kind of has that same effect that Death Prophet does, except it's a lot less flashy. You need to basically focus them down and kill them off. Otherwise, they're going to have such a huge impact on the fight. So it's nowhere near as flashy as an Exorcism flying around, but Necro just being Necro and pressing Q every time it's off cooldown has such a huge effect, both in terms of damage output and his ability to heal his teammates. Well, and of course, just the fact that he's got his Heartstopper Orb ticking away constantly.
Yep, and of course the rework to Sadist is probably my favorite part about the hero now. Such a well-needed buff at the time that really hasn't seen too much light or limelight until now, but man, is it good limelight. As we see ZYZZ in the wrong position. He's got a Midas. He has no BKB. Death Ward is there, right clicks are there, and they have enough vision to continue the damage. Maybe it's enough to kill him. Hello World trying to chase down the Fog, stopping the stun. Will he get this stun around the corner? It does get off on the Reaper side. Urkrin comes around the right side. However, teammates from him, the Razor that is, on the side of SENS, are going to siege this bottom tower, deal quite a bit of damage between Nether Toxin and the Liquid Fire. They can deal quite a bit of damage to these towers. But I think the bigger exchange was definitely killing this Razor, considering his Midas was off cooldown. The Reaper's Scythe adds 30 seconds. Yeah,
the Reaper's Scythe may have seemed like a waste, too much overkill. Oh, we're seeing action here, but I don't think anyone's going to die.
Oh, might be the one who's in trouble. He does get the global off to stop that Viper Strike, and now he's going to continue the surge, start the chase, as he does have the Wraith King behind him. It looks like the buyback was there for Razor, but he just bought back after waiting to never use his Midas, and is now going to use it. Does finally use it, and a little bit of waste of time there. This Razor not having nearly as good of a game. We'll start to push this middle lane. And I feel
that's a painful buyback, but it was a very good buyback. because he's able to buy back immediately, TP mid, and put pressure on the mid lane, which means that Water can't pressure and keep going in bottom lane. He knew that his team wasn't going to be able to defend this tier 1 with Water continually pushing down. So his buyback, although it cost him quite a bit of gold, meant that, you know what, if you want that tier 1 tower, you are then going to trade your tier 2 mid. So it was a pretty good buyback in the sense that he forced the enemy team to not push.
No, I agree with that logic. However, it was costly, so weigh those, and what do you get? Not entirely sure, but probably not the best outcome either way, as this game does even out, but Water is coming back strong as they look to pull the EXP graph down and stall out the net worth graph. Of course, that Midas is going to help in a lot of ways. Riki has been going ham, and that's going to definitely help, but Silencer, Moo, has been his own story, 4-0-3, doing work. The Sheriff, like you said, great participation in fights, but also no deaths. Very important on an Undying to never die, whereas this Omni Knight, last game, played very well, but you know what? We're kind of seeing the Skywrath Mage effect. I don't know how you feel about not going boots on Omni. I think the Soul Ring is very important, in fact, probably critical, but do you weigh that over brown boots for Omni Knight?
No.
Really?
No.
Huh, because I kind of go towards the Soul Ring, personally.
Well, I don't feel like you should ever be this far behind, and I don't think it's an option between boots or Soul Ring. I think it's an option between an upgraded Magic Wand, which is exactly the same thing that Skywrath did, right? Why upgrade your stick to a wand when that's almost boots? The amount of gold that you put in there.
I mean, it is boots.
Well, not really.
Well, I mean, without the wand, right? But like he's probably had 100 gold sitting around for a while since he bought that. So yeah, no, interesting decision we've been seeing from the supports today, but I don't know. This game is definitely not a game of supports, as much as I hate to admit it. D2 Sheriff is the big shine, as well as Bren, I guess. But on the other side, Jakiro did well in the laning phase, but hasn't really done much. It's really been Factor Fiction dictating everything for his team, and we'll see how that continues. But I'm honestly looking a lot towards the Undying, because Undying can just snowball as a support into a core that you can't stop until later portions of the game where you're too far behind for it to matter. And Shakiro will be able to get the tower and get out. Great play by him. Excellent play by him.
Used Macropire to push the lane and then ran up. Knew he only needed a little bit of damage to get that tower down, and he knew the pressure was coming, and was able to go to that high ground, get the TP off, and didn't risk his life, and instead got a tower.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
He snuck that one in.
I don't know what Water does here. Like, I feel like they're just getting ratted all over the place. Like, the lanes are just getting pushed, and they're just getting pushed around. They're just running around defending, and that's not what this lineup is set up to do. They want to be pushing, they want to be dictating the pace of the game, and they can't. And I don't, you talked a little bit before, last game, of it's hard when you're in the game to say, okay, we need to change the pace of this game, we need to start dictating the pace of the game. But as a spectator, I don't even see how you change that right now. Like, SENS is just doing a good job all over the place of just pushing at the right times. We saw Tempting Time just do that to take the tower mid, and we saw ZYZ buy back and push down mid to protect one of his own towers and put pressure on the map again. Like, they're just kind of doing those little things all over the place, and it's really hard for Water to dictate the pace of the game when they're always defending.
Well, 3 heroes bottom to push, 5 heroes to defend. It looks like this is definitely a bait, as Yurtwind is going to be in the front. He's going to tank the Viper Strike, going to heal this up, but it doesn't look like they want to commit to it.
Oh my. Good play, good play.
They definitely read into that well. They read into that insanely well, but did they read it in well enough to not get gone on by this gank? And it doesn't look like, as the stun is going to go out. Shakiro in big trouble as the Death Ward is there to clean him up. They're going to pop the Tombstone, slowing the Omni Knight. Global is there as well to help out. TP in from Riki to turn this fight as Hello World's going to dive. This does get the kill. 1 down on the side of SENS as Shakiro was able to get away. It looks like a TP was what saved him, and they can turn this into a T1 push if they want to. I don't think they can get any more kills off of this, but meanwhile, middle lane, ZYZZ is going to push and trade a T1 for a T3, forces at least 2 TPs. But they still get the T1, which is important.
Oh, no, they're defending it.
Yeah, no, ZYZZ is going to come in. Looks like Blink Forward from Hello World is going to try to help stall this, but Necro, too much burst for him to heal through, and now Hello World is taking quite a bit of damage. He does have that ultimate up, so it'll slow all 3 of these heroes, but it's a massive advantage for the side of the Radiant against this Wraith King, as 5 heroes end up arriving at his deathbed. Razor. Who got the tower? The Siege King?
The creeps.
Yeah, okay. So, overall, though, great movement by, again, Razor. I think you pointed out last time, and I think it's worth pointing out again, that MVP award for these last few plays has been him. He's been at the right place to split push, even though you don't think of Razor as a split pushing hero. I mean, his ultimate, man, it just wrecks towers, and so he takes advantage of that, pulls heroes away, and then immediately TPs back and gets kills. Classic play, but very effective in this instance.
Yeah, a lot of people hate the rat style of play, but a lot of times it's just the proper way to play and the proper way to really control any kind of movement that your opponent wants to make. And you're saying, you know what, you're going to have to rotate, but you're going to have to rotate to where I dictate.
Right, it's kind of like harassment in StarCraft. That's why a lot of people get upset, oh, you never beat me, you just harass me to death.
You just poke and prod. Well, yeah, that's because I'm doing it to keep you busy while I'm doing something else.
Definitely working for them right now. Riki went Basher. I like this. Screw Diffusal. I'm carrying, man. But what's going to happen over here is he's scouting out the entire team. This is the other thing. You know, we were talking about Bounty Hunter. Now we want to see more, and, you know, Pylite Eye owning in TI4. He was basically, with the Blink Dagger support Bounty Hunter, a mobile ward, and we'll see over here. He'll probably get Brain if he gets a stun, and he does one more right click, and that's a kill. Killing spree over onto Fact Fiction. But yeah, he's basically a mobile ward. He constantly is giving his team information on the map, part of the map that they can't guarantee ward coverage because it's not their side. But because of their advantage, Riki can control it and give them vision of it. Thus, they have all knowledge needed to make good decisions. Like you saw right there, Riki waited for the Witch Doctor, and he knew that there was no one in response time and cleaned up an easy kill.
I can't really expand on that at all. That was just really well put there. Factor Fiction's just... I can't even say that he's the story of this game because he's been doing an incredibly good job. He was able to do that because Tempting Time came up there and helped him. But since there, he's kind of just hit the ground running and he's kept going with it. But his team's been doing such a good job everywhere else on the map that it's not just him.
Well, we have a congregation of 4 heroes. Purple, aka ZYZZ, is in the bottom lane, but nowhere near split pushing. As we see the stun go out onto Loomden, they actually canceled the Death Ward, so they don't have access to it. Loomden is in trouble, though, as we see that Reaper Scythe, but Factor Fiction is just going ham because he has that shield. Bren going to take quite a bit of damage, but kind of a pointless kill, as of course he doesn't have that ulti, and we see Factor Fiction does go down, and they're going to lose a lot of heroes here as Ink Dota trying to escape, but I don't think he really stands a chance to. Right clicks are just too strong. Moo going to throw out right clicks after that. Curse of the Silent as well as the last word, and ZYZ was not in a position to split push. That fight went way worse. Well, the stun hit, it does. And you know what? This might be a triple kill, and it is for Moo. Monster kill. We've been talking about SENS so much, Niz, that Moo decided that we needed to shut the hell up. And after that fight, 5,000 more experience, over 4,000 gold to their favor. Big exchange. And again, Moo. I mean, yeah, his team is doing a lot to set him up, and it's always hard for us as casters to say this because there's so many people to give props to, but Moo, as he's been getting the kills and, you know, he's been at the right place at the right time to clean everything up, he's just getting massive. And his team is putting Moo or him in a position to win the game for them, which is exactly what you need to do with cores.
Well, he needs to get out of there now. He's 800 away from Refresher, and I think he is just going to get out of there.
Factor Fiction, though, is on the pursuit. Yasha treads and drums. Lots of movement speed. Does get a first hit bash and the cloud, but the Force Staff there. Double Force Staff, actually, to get him quite a bit of distance away. Of course, Factor Fiction has access to multiple Blink Strikes. Doesn't get the first one. As he does get fogged, he's going to run a little bit of an extra step to be able to get that click. He does get the cloud off. But they're under the tower and only with 3 heroes, so they can't continue the pursuit. And Moo gets away, unkilled. Unkilled. Not dead. Gets back to the fountain, able to continue spinning on that refresher.
DED.
Dead game. Dead game, dead necro.
Tempting time. Drawing out a little bit of rotation here. Apparently he's just drawing it out for himself, as no one's with him. Oh, he's gonna walk right into Bren.
But Bren might be in trouble himself, as it is a 2-on-2, but Bren's gonna drop the ward, doesn't have a mallet, or he does have mallet panel, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, but Ink Dota, right clicks, are it enough? Is it enough? Sorry. TP, I don't know where he TP'd to. Oh, back to, I looked at the Radiant Fountain, wondering where he TP'd. Hashtag Raptors problems, as we see Jakiro getting chased down by D2 Sheriff, but it's actually D2 Sheriff getting chased down by the Radiant side. Moo gets a godlike out of this, but now he's 1-on-2, now 1-on-1, now 2-on-1, as he's going to be able to chase this down. Hello World has access to the Blink Dagger, BKB's on cooldown, stun is there, right click, Reaper Scythe, and death. As Water is starting to take control of this game, but Bryn is the only one standing to this massive push potential that's in this top lane. Omni Knight, Factor Fiction, stun goes out to help stall this. Can they hold it? Moo gonna get linked up. Bryn getting chased down. Right clicks are there, and now Bryn is down. One more person out of the way. Factor Fiction gonna try to TP out. Does get out. ZYZZ dove deep and is able to escape. Maybe Ron. Hello World is there. He has the stun. Lumden does have the heal as well. Or no, he doesn't have the heal because the Soul Ring was used to use that. Use the ultimate. Heartstopper does go through BKB, and so do right clicks. Urkin will clean up that kill at the end. And wow, Water, great plays. As the game started off, like you said, brilliantly put. Again, Nostradamus here. Water had poor laning phase, to say the least. Say the least. And you said the mark of great players is the ability to recover and continue to play well, etc. And they have done more than recover in this situation. They have come back and they are dominating now. Where we once said there was really no way for them to control the game, they found a way and they are now controlling the game. And it goes to show that they are better players than us, that's for sure. But great play from Water overall. They are definitely doing well.
You know, they've been working out. They've built up their calf muscles, but it's still an uphill grind right now. They still.
Well, what better muscles to walk uphill than calves, my friend? Actually, you kind of need thighs and hams, but whatever.
Moo did finish a refresher with all that, so he's got that. Necro, Urkin picking up his eggs. So no buybacks coming out after the Reaper's Scythe goes off. But Ricky actually picked up the Manta style, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the natural progression after you get a Yasha. It's not always the best item on the hero if it's agility, but it is a good item no matter what, and the number of abilities that it helps you with is just too invaluable. The other thing that's worth noting is that it helps with the cast. Yeah, it gives it more targets to bounce to, but the more targets to bounce to, the less likely it is to bounce to important targets. So it's generally the logic sometimes, but they are going to go ahead and go in here. Little do they know that Roche is just over. They're going to throw Tombstone onto the high ground, and what a tombstone. But the Ice Path is even better, and here goes the Death Ward dealing tons of damage. Factor Fiction getting low, D2 Sheriff low as well. Bren will finally die as that Death Ward did a ton of damage, but Moo still alive, going ham, pops the global. Urkin did have the Aegis, but honestly, I don't know if they're going to be able to win this. Hello World does have his Aegis still up, which means they might be able to just win this fight outright. Moo staying off to the sides, doing a great job kiting now. Hello World back in the fight, does have the stun, will start going on Ink Dota. Moo and Hello World looking to be the last standing heroes as they take the fight and take possibly the game with that play. Honestly, they are way ahead. The ultra kill Moo is fat as hell. Holy Moo.
I don't know if you saw what Moo did there, but he used his Force Staff to push himself up
I caught that on the cliff there. The camera.
Oh my goodness. And then he survived long enough to push himself down, and then he just came, back and forth,
no, didn't he push all the way over? I thought he pushed all the way over. No, he pushed up on top. Oh, okay.
And then he's even pinging it out right now. And then he was just like raining down. The tombstone was right on the corner. He was just attacking down. And then he backed up here because he was starting to get focused. And he was getting low. And then he Force Staff down to low.
Action, Brent caught out by Factor Fiction. And doesn't matter if you just won a big team fight or not. Riki plus support equals dead. Riki equal dead, guys.
Bash Lord.
We need to see more Riki dead, Kappa. The KPM in this chat has officially dropped. The viewer number is not an excuse, my friends. The less viewers, the more need for you guys to spam more Kappas. Kappa, Kappa, Kappa. As leads are relatively even now with that play from Water. Great comeback. And off the back of Moo. But I also got to say again, though, that Jakiro ice path, I think that's what you first pointed out in that fight. That ice path was just amazing. But that's the new Roshan pit. It sucks for in that situation. Hello World, yeah, it's really small. As Hello World is going to get chased out by Riki. Does have that repel. Does save him the money on buying that BKB, and it never, what am I trying to say? Never loses duration. Always is the same duration. Only gains in duration the more points he puts into it. So definitely better than BKB in that, right? But we do see BKB up on Viper. Of course, ZYZZ as he goes for that Ags, now looking to go either into a Shivas or Shivas or AC, but I would prefer that he went AC because of the minus armor synergizing with the ult, but you can go Shivas. It's not wrong. It's just not technically the best, but can be useful. Helps your chase and catchability.
It's not wrong, it's just less right.
Yeah, exactly. And in the world of logic and Dota, that's all that matters.
Look at this. Look at this play from Factor Fiction.
Yeah, he's screwing
with his illusion there. He's just poking and prodding a little bit and seeing where the sentry wards are.
And also, he's trying to bait out a reaction, right? Because if they do something wrong and use one wrong spell, they are in a position, SENS that is, to turn on it. And yeah, look, they're going to go ahead and jump around on it. They don't use a lot of important abilities, but they do use the blink. We'll be off cooldown already, though, and yeah, interesting decisions there as they do ping out some stuff. Not entirely sure what that is, but yeah, look at this Witch Doctor. The burden on his shoulders, man. The number of sentry wards this guy has to buy just to make his team feel comfortable.
That's Ricky.
We'll run through a sentry ward and vision there. They should have caught him right there. But they can't be sure if it's an illusion or not. They really can't be. Because he has a Manta style.
Uh-oh.
Well, they're sure that's an illusion, and with the way he's running, it definitely confirms it for them. If it was an illusion, it would be meta level play. But I'd really like to see Factor Fiction play with some illusions a little bit more and make them think that whenever they see a Riki, it's an illusion. Because then he has the element of surprise again, where he can run under sentry wards and they'll be like, oh, he's just messing with us. Right? Because after it happens 3 times, you're never going to make that mistake again. But smoke up from SENS as they want to kind of set the pace. Kind of don't like that the game stalled out.
Oh no, they've pinged out Factor Fiction with this DD in the rotation there.
Yeah, they
so they're going to avoid him.
And they're going to avoid
and
this
the smoke's not going to work at all. Yeah.
But if they push up this lane, they could just push anyways, right? Like, what's stopping them? Water could try, or Water obviously has the fight advantage, but in the eyes of SENS and their information, they feel probably a slight perceptual advantage. I think based just on how the game started, but I really feel like with the new comeback mechanic, it's really important to note that comebacks occur both quicker and more viciously. Therefore, the need to be aware of the other team's potential is more pertinent. And so it's really up to SENS now to see and understand that, yeah, they have an advantage, but their advantage got literally chunked more than in half by that last fight. And we're going to see a big fight here, Niz. Question is, who's going to come out ahead?
Hello world.
What a blink forward, or a run forward by Sleeping Time, caught out in the middle of everything, as we do see ZYZZ taking up quite a bit of damage from that. That's where the double global is doing a lot, as it's preventing a ton of abilities. Factor Fiction not even able to do any damage. He's going to drop down and fall. Meanwhile, Razor trying to escape towards the southern side and will probably escape, as he does keep just juking back and forth. The ice path is there, stunning out too, but Hello World is going on to Lumden. Won't quite kill him off, but Factor Fiction bought back. Will die again. Moo, double kill on the buyback hero, and I think this is their key to go high ground here. Buyback on Riki, you just won the fight. They used all their ultimates after you used Global, after you used Tombstone, after you used Death Ward, and you still won the fight, and you have the better sustain.
This is I don't see how you win. I don't see how you come back now because you were ahead and okay. You're ahead and then you start losing fights. So they're not gonna let me talk.
No, maybe they will. Shakira, Hello World, fighting. They're not gonna let you. Aegis will pop as 3 heroes are slowed by it. They're gonna run ahead and move in with that Ags running on the Razor, but they will lose the hero right off the bat. He does buy back. D2 Sheriff manning it up against the Razor. Razor getting low, dropping down to 470 HP. Hello World getting low again. They will continue to heal him up as they have 2 forms of healing, but it's not enough. Probably actually 3 if you count the Undying, but it was on cooldown, so they will have to back up for now. But they forced buyback. They lost Hello World. Kind of a big deal, but not really. He's 1-6 and 16. He hasn't had the best game, and to be fair, the only important hero in this game for them is Mu, because he's basically a mini OD. And by a mini OD, I mean actually a real OD, because of the new buff to Glaives of Wisdom. 84%, it was only a 9% damage buff, but man, does 9% add up when you have 200 intellect. It's another 10 pure damage.
Yeah. But one thing to note is that Mu is at 15-0 right now. That's a big streak, and of course, one of the themes of 6.82 is the amount of streak gold that you get.
Don't die.
However, the net worth is only now crossed over 0 and starting to go in Water's favor. So now this is where it's going to come really, really important because, well, Water, Mu is getting is starting to get farther ahead, and that kill gold is going to be gigantic if they do actually get to kill on him.
No, I completely agree. And 6.82 is the patch of later games, and honestly, there's no problem with that in my book, as these games are highly entertaining to say the least. They are really long, though. Hopefully we get done at a decent hour. Stupid 7:30 a.m. class.
I can't help but feel that this one's over, though. I don't... Like, I know I said earlier, like, how does Water, from this point, start dictating the pace of the game and everything? And apparently it was just Mu just finishing Refresher, and that become impossible to fight into.
They're going for Roche, and it looks like it's getting pinged. No, that was Mu that was pinging it out, I think. Holy hell, that new slam. It doesn't say how much damage it does. I wish they'd fix that. But man, when he slams, that did like half of D2 Sheriff's HP. Maybe he is becoming a raid boss. Good old Roshan.
Roshan now requires 2 teams to fight together to kill him. It's just a race to click on the item.
And if either team starts to attack each other, Roshan becomes invulnerable. Enters God mode where he's allowed to leave the pit. Roams freely across the map. Any team that runs into him loses the hero with no buyback for 4 minutes. Diffusal onto Factor Fiction. He will go ahead and go in as there is no gem on Wraith King or dust or any form of detection. And Riki does have a Manta, so he can obviously Manta the dust, but it's still nice to have something just to force that out or force the extra clicks out of them, etc. But doesn't have it on him at the time, so won't be able to do that. Man, these games are going late.
I wonder what they're waiting for. Like, why doesn't Water just push right now?
Fear of the way the patch works, I think. Right, because if Mu dies, right, holy hell. Like, you hit the nail on the head. Like, it's completely the different direction if Mu dies. Because everyone who participates in that kill is gifted basically 1,000 gold.
Yeah, if he dies at the start of the fight, oof.
Yeah, it's even worse. Factor Fiction nearby to Hello World, but he's just going to blink and TP out because he has an AC. As I imagine he'll be buying that up here. Maybe not, no, he's going to say buyback. So Hello World, experienced player making experienced decisions here. as he will not waste his money and will maintain a buyback.
I mean, just the fact that he picked up the diffusal blade on the Wraith King because he knew that their team was going to need that. It's a big play right there.
Yeah, no,
In terms of item choice.
that's heads up, intelligent, experienced play, and that's what we like to see as the tournament does go on, guys. The action only gets better. So we see 4 heroes from water, probably 5 soon, as Hello World is farming. Does pick up that AC, but he is much closer to his buyback. In fact, Niz, you called it. Why aren't they doing it? Well, they were just waiting for some farm. They have Aegis. Or had Aegis. No, they still have it, right. Echo didn't die yet. That was the previous Aegis fight. And Moo and Oaken are ready to push high ground. And Moo, look at that. Just click, 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 click. Damage, damage, damage. And now the initiation onto ZYZZ. He does have a heart, though. Decent amount of HP, 3.6k, as he's going to go ahead and set a link up onto Hello World. Yurkin is going to get Viper Striked up. Global is there, the first one, and now they're going to turn this fight as the Death Ward is there, dealing a decent amount of damage, but Riki is able to cancel that with the Cloud. Blink forward from Hello World as the second global goes through. They're going to be able to focus Factor Fiction. Remember, he didn't buy back before, but he won't be able to buy back now as he goes down, and so does Razor. And with those two on the sideline, I don't think there's any way you win this game. Both don't have buyback, one because of gold, one because of Necro. And the middle racks is getting sieged as Water against the team that probably is individually skilled, a little more stacked up against them, able to take this game as they continue to press in, cleaning up multiple heroes on the side of SENS. And the only thing that holds back their victory is the GG from SENS, or the Ancient blowing up. And Niz, what a game from them. What a game from Moo. Water, I didn't count them out, but I felt grim for them. But I don't know why aren't they just going for the GG? None of them have buybacks except for Jakiro. What is Jakiro going to do?
I don't know why they haven't typed GG yet, but...
No, I meant, sorry. They all clicked for T2. I was like, why not just GG?
Oh.
And then a few of them had the same thought. They're like, yeah, they're actually all dead, and the only one who has buyback is Jakiro. Like, this should just be game.
Yeah, I don't...
And there it is. GG, well played. What a game. Last 2 games have been absolute treats. Last 3 games, sorry, have been absolute treats to watch. As all of the games have been interesting in their own way. But Niz, what do you feel about that game? And then we'll go ahead and kick it to music as we go into round 5, as we'll see Water go up against Pain and Friends.
Well, it didn't look like Water was in too good of a position there, as they were really getting pushed around all over the map. SENS did a really good job of just splitting and ratting and putting pressure all over the place, but you know, they lost steam, and I guess that steam turned into water. Oh my god, I just made that pun. As Water started to basically gain the momentum back, and they started getting into it, and once Moo finished that the refreshers, they had no way of ever losing a fight. It almost seemed like you've got refresher, egg, silencer, on top of the fact that he's just right-clicking, dealing a ridiculous amount of damage. He finished 18-0 and 9 that game, 604 gold per minute. Is that 604 that impressive? No, but it's a silencer. He's not a hyper farmer, and it doesn't matter what your gold per minute is when you've built the hero in such a way that it's so difficult for your team to lose a fight. And I'm a little sorry to see that Factor Fiction, Riki didn't completely dominate and lead his team to victory, but you know what? It's interesting to see Water come back from a game that they looked like they were in such a poor position.
Yep. Well, I completely agree with all that, Niz, as always. And we will be moving into round 5, following Water as they go up against Pain and Friends, guys, like I said. But till then, if you enjoyed this cast, follow my channel, twitch.tv/RaptorZ, right below you, that follow button. If you want to watch the cast on your own leisure, you can check it out at youtube.com/DotaRaptors. And finally, but most importantly, if you enjoy listening to Niz, check him out at Nizcast, twitter.com, as well as /Nizcast for both YouTube and Twitch. But kicking it to the waiting screen and music, guys, we'll be back with action shortly.